Welcome to Channel AMEC, your insight to the Australian visa system. Good day everyone, my name is Carl Young, your online YouTube visa consultant. Are you interested about migrating to Australia? Why don't you consider to subscribe to my channel and turn on a little bell on the side, so once we have all the updates and news, you'll be the first one of getting all the insights from our channel. Oh, obviously, there has been a lot of talks about investment visa, business visa, all that kind of stuff. And generally, when we talking about this kind of visa, there is a comparison of different countries and what different countries offer. So today in this video, I'd like to take a little bit of overview, not into depth, but overview of all the countries of the Five Eyes, how they offer their investment visa program. Now, okay, first one, obviously people might know that the I've been specializing in the Australian immigration system. I'm not too familiar with all the other countries, for example, United Kingdom, United States, Canada, and New Zealand. So bear in mind that I will only provide overview. For detail, I'm not specializing in those law. But let's have a look. First of all, let's look into the US Citizenship and Immigration Service website, where predominantly people know if you wanted to invest and migrate to US, United States of America, there's a commonly known EB-5 Immigration Investor Program. So this is generally that you invest money into a certain project that's approved by the government, and there is so-called regional center that you need to get approved with. And then obviously you get the visas. Now bear in mind that this visa only allows you to bring unmarried children under 21. So differences here between this one and what Australia offers. Australia offers that the children under 23. Now previously it was 25, but they dropped down to 23. Whether or not they will take it back to 25, we don't know. But for US, it's under 21. All right. And the detail of required, let's have a look here. There is increased in minimum investments from I think it was last year. The standard minimum amount is increased to 1.5 million US dollars. Of course, that's around 2 mil or a little bit more Australian dollars. From 1 mil, and then if you invest it into some of what they call TEA, generally will be rural areas, they will be increased from $500,000 US to 900,000 US dollars. So that will equivalent to about possibly about 1.3, 1.4 Australian dollars. Now, so that's a target employment area. So generally, that's areas they want the employment to be improved of there. Now, the requirement here, we don't have that detail, but we may notice that you're required to actually demonstrate to have 10 employments being established over time for particular projects. So if we're looking into the USA, so basically it's 1.5 mil and 900,000 for the investment program. Now let's jump into Canada. It's a very popular country that people wanted to migrate to. It's obviously close to USA, but there has been the overloaded number of migrants have caused a lot of problem for Canada, and the different provinces does provide different things. But at the moment, the immigrant investor program for federal immigration investor program is closed. Now you may notice that I've done one video. I think last year. There has been a long wait of a lot of people wanting to jump into this program because it was considerably much cheaper in a cost wise and investment wise than all the other countries. So a lot of people jump on board, but then the backlog and delay had caused the federal government of Canada to actually terminate the whole program. Until today, we don't have any news at the moment, so a lot of people want to go to Canada. They may choose to go other route like entrepreneurial, self-employed, and things like that. Now, bear in mind, there are other options for a lot of countries for self-employed, but Australia has actually terminated the self-employed entrepreneurial program long time ago. By way, it was under the subclass 457. Obviously, you may notice that 457 is no longer existed. They are now 482, and they don't promote self-employed type of visas, and they don't allow that to be happening anymore. But there is a talk about enlightening and bringing it back from 1AA entrepreneurial visas in through 491 as well. But anyhow, we don't have that detail yet, but I'm looking forward as that I think that will be happening in July. So bear in mind, you subscribe to our channel. Now let's jump back to a little bit detail of the US ones, because I just got that page here where it has more with a table here, so you can actually see what's happening there. So it was $500,000. Now they're gonna move it up to 900,000 and the 1 million. I'm sorry, did I say 1.5? It's increased to 1.8 US dollars, and it's required to, as you can see up here, for employment parts, job creation. You need to get, create at least 10 qualified employees. So there's a lot of different projects out there suitable for the EB5 program. However, there is pros and cons, and obviously if you're investors, you take your own liability to assess what you invest into. Some good, some bad, and over times that's the requirement over there. Now let's go into the Australian's neighbour across Tasman, New Zealand. Now investor visas there, I think the New Zealand's immigration website is actually done a very, very good job. It's very clear, and straight away you see what's happening, rather than now I'm not saying US is no good, but it's just too wordy, too much stuff, but it's detail very good. And the you compare to this, that this is Canada's and US, and then here we go, New Zealand done a good job on the web designing. Anyway, okay, now let's get into the investor visa for New Zealand. Now, so what do we read here? If you're looking to invest in New Zealand lifestyle, investor visas may be good options. So investor one, minimum invest 10 million New Zealand dollars. Now that's about the same as 10 million Australian dollars for at least 3 years. Now bear in mind, Australia just abolished their premium investment visa, which is I think 15 mil, because no one done it, and now they I'm not too sure whether New Zealand will do that too, but it seems like what New Zealand's offer has stayed there quite a while, and that's another reason why a lot of people come prefer Australia rather than going to New Zealand, because it's just neighbors, it's just like you comparing USA and Canada, because it's just neighboring countries. So a lot of people see EB5 because the change of EB5 investment criteria, then they jump on board to Canada, but then there's just too many overloaded in Canada, and then they terminate the whole thing. So again, there's all type of different ones, and I'll provide a summary at the end of this video, so bear in mind you watch until the end. Okay, so 10 mil, the good thing is all you need to do is you can only 44 days in New Zealand each of the last 2 years, so that's pretty simple. You just go there for holidays and you'll be able to get your permanent residency afterwards for 3 years. And there's a 3 mil options here. Now you need to invest that into for 4 years, and you are required to stay there for 146 days in New Zealand in each of the last 3 years. So that's about almost half of the year you got to be in New Zealand. So 3 million New Zealand dollar, it's not considerably that high, but compared to what Australia offer, it's 5 mil, and you enjoy what the 10 mil part option that we had, compared to SIV that we're looking at the moment. So it's the website design is very good, but whether or not that actually fit, because those amounts are certainly higher than what you're required to do in USA. And I can't say too much about Canada, because at the moment Canada has terminated the investment program. But in comparison, that is actually much higher bar required by the country of New Zealand. Okay, now the final one is, you'll see what's here. Now this country is quite cool. It's UK, United Kingdom. Look at this website. It's very simple, but it's probably oversimplified. But anyhow, it's clear as well. Not much of graphic of how we compare to New Zealand with the graphic there. So in UK, you're required to put into £2 million. That's around what I have calculated, about 3.5 to 3.7 million Australian dollars. In compare, now there is not much of detail saying about families and things, that's what I'm saying. It's I don't have the detail here because I'm not specializing in those. Immigration law is a particularly complicated part of law for each country, so I'm not in a specialized area in those parts, but from what we can see here, that's what they offer. Now finally, let's jump into the Australian investors business innovation investment visa. So I'm not too sure why they call business innovation, but again, the reason they're doing that, because they think the investors should have business skills, so they're still categorized under a skill visa, under the overarching umbrella of the skill visas. Now, as you might notice, there's abolishment of 132 visas. Now, this is where I specialize in from July, and from July the 1AA A business innovation stream and the investment stream will have a little bit of altered and changes. The requirement of business innovation stream will raise a little bit higher. It's act more like entrepreneurial visa for other country in comparison, but you do have to have that business background to actually meet the requirement. Some of the entrepreneurial visas proposed by other countries do not require to have that background and asset proof at the back end, but for Australia it's different. Now the investment requirement was and currently at 200,000, but after July 2021, I think will be raised up to about 400 to 500k. So which is a right Australian dollars. It's minor, but then you have to spend at least 3 years business building in Australia and to be successful to be able to transfer into a permanent residency. Now the other options is investor stream, which will be changing from the amount of investment of 1.5 to about 2.5. So in compare, it will be matching to what EB5 offer. And also it matches almost towards what the New Zealand's 3 million offer. And in compared to, obviously we can't compare with Canada because at the moment nothing can be compared with at the moment. So we can see that all the countries are actually raising up their investment thresholds for the investor visas. Now the SIV will stay the same with 5 mil, but the good part is they are moving down. I think that's what they're trying to do there. They're moving down of the term of investment from 4 years down to 3 years. For more confirmation, we'll need to wait until 1st of July to actually see all the updates. So in overview, now I believe for amount, if you want to go into investment visas, and become an entrepreneur and investor for all these different, taking on all these different countries out there. Obviously, we're not talking about Canada. You can't do it now. There is other stream for entrepreneur side, but each province does provide their own different views on that, so I'm not going to go into detail there. But for UK, now we're talking about 3.5 to 3.7 million Australian dollar compared to what you can actually do for an investor visa of 2.5, or perhaps just a little bit more. I think it's for SIV for $5 million. For an investors and for a migrants, I think it's more about the environment and about the countries that you feel comfortable with. Generally, my experience tells me is people have been traveling around. Now, you may prefer some states in USA. You may prefer some province or some city in Canada. You may prefer, the how Britain, UK is, or you may prefer New Zealand for the peacefulness, or perhaps Australia. So, amount-wise, for an investor to actually migrate, I think all of them are pretty similar at the moment. Now, in prior to that, because of if there's no changes going on, Australia will be really, really preferred because the amount of investment required is considerably lower than obviously USA and UK and New Zealand. And that's why in 2012, Australia had overtook all the other countries to become the number one and first nation to be picked as investor preferred countries. Now, obviously, with the new era, post-pandemic, it will be interesting to see how that goes, because how Australia had treated the virus for these 2 years, as what they call Fortress Australia, had actually barred a lot of people actually entering into Australia, and that will cause that will have some cost. Whether or not that's going to be positive or negative, we'll see what happens. Anyway, that's for the video today, where I am basically putting all the Five Eyes countries of their investor visa programmed in front of you and see how you feel about it. Make sure to leave a comment right down below, and see you next video. Goodbye.